Hi everyone, my name is Aviad. I'm a senior developer at AuraPlayer, and in this video I would like to demo you our template application for managing expense reports on top of your EBS system. So what you are currently seeing on my screen is on the left side you see our template application, and on the right side you see our test EBS system that we're working with. And we will start by logging into the same user that it is already logged into the EBS system. This will get us directly into the expenses home page of the EBS system. So what we are seeing right now, on the left side we see the list of submitted reports, which correlates to this table here on the EBS system, the list of submitted reports. Basically, what AuraPlayer's Service Manager is providing you is an easy way to add additional modern UI layer on top of your EBS system and bring it to your users' mobile devices. Your EBS UI will not work well with mobile devices, so you won't be able to get to it directly from your mobile devices. With AuraPlayer's Service Manager, you can easily create applications like this that will provide you a modern web application with responsive UI that will fit its look and feel to any mobile device layout that you have. For example, in this case, we're simulating iPhone. If I will change it, for example, to an iPad, it will just fit itself to an iPad, and so on. So this is a flexible UI that knows to fit itself to any device. Let's get back to the iPhone simulation, and let's emphasize that this application is only a UI layer on top of your EBS system, which means that any data that is populated into your EBS system will be presented with the same content on your template application. And any business rule that was set and customized into your EBS system will be invoked by the same flows here that were implemented on the template application, because it is only a UI layer. It works all the time directly and online with your EBS system. So the real business server that works with this template application is still your EBS system. We are only providing a modern UI to it. And let's demo the basic flow of adding a new expense report. To do that, we will just press the new report button, which is exactly like pressing here the create expense report button. And we will start with the same flow that we have on the EBS system. We will get to the first general page of creating a new expense report. Any data that is already populated on this screen as default values will also be populated on our template application. So we can see here the employee name, the department, and so on. And all the other fields we would need to fill in like we need to do it on the EBS system. So we will start by putting in a purpose for this expense report. We can change the approver, override it. To do that, we can press here the search button. This will bring us a search window, exactly like on the EBS system, where we can see all the available approvers. We can filter it by different categories, and we can decide to select a different approver for this report. And let's press the next button to get to the next step, and this will bring us to the credit transaction step. The demo user that we are showing right now is allowed to work with company credit cards. So all the company credit cards that are attached to this user will be displayed here. We will be able to select from any one of them. And once he selected a credit card, he will be able to choose transactions from this credit card and add it to its expense report. So we will just select one of the transactions, press the next button, and the next thing we will need to do is, of course, to fill in all the missing information for this credit card transaction. So this is the line. I'll just press here the edit button, and as you can see, any data that was already existing on the credit card report will be added automatically here. But details that are missing, we will need to fill in. So we see that this is an airfare. We see that this is the amount and all the other things, and we will put here justification. And fill in all the other fields that needs to be added on this case. And the fields that are displayed here on this page would fit the fields that were set up to this expense type. So for airfare, we'll see these fields. For different expense type, we'll see different fields. The same as you have customized on your EBS system. Let's press here the Done button. And it will just add it to our credit lines table. Now we can press the next button and go to the next step, which is of course optional, where you can add additional cash receipt expenses, per diem, and mileage. And let's demo how we can add a new cash expense. So we'll just press the plus button here. And as I said before, if I'll select a different expense type, for example, let's select hotel, I'll get here a different set of fields, exactly as we have it on the EBS. So let's fill in the amount for this hotel, and by purpose I put here an amount that I know that will invoke a business rule that I have on my EBS system, saying that this is a too high amount, just to show you that we are working directly with the EBS system and invoking any business rule that you have here. We'll see it in a minute. Now let's start. Let's select the date. Let's fill in all the mandatory fields like we are requested on the EBS system. And now I can just press add line, which means that I want to save this line and add a new line, or just press the done, which means that I'm done with cash expenses. I'll try to press the done button. And as expected, it will pop up a warning directly from the EBS system saying that this receipt amount is exceed the allowable daily limit. So I can continue with it or cancel it as the options available on the EBS system. Another thing that I can do here while adding an expense is also add an attachment. And since I'm working on a mobile device, I can use the mobile device advantages and use the camera of the mobile device. And if I was working with a real mobile device, I could just press here the camera button and scan a document, a receipt, and add it to this cash expense. Here I would just press the attach file button, which will enable me to select a file from my file system and add it to this expense. So now this expense also has an attachment. And let's press done to say that I'm done with the cash expenses. Oh, I probably didn't change the daily rate, so let me change it to the allowed amount, like it says on the EBS system, and press done again. Okay, so now I have this new cash line, and it is filled with all the company policies. I can of course edit it like I've just done, or delete it, or add new cash lines to this table. But I won't do that. I'll just move to the next step, and I'll define a different or a new type of expense, which will be the per diem expense. So I just move to the per diem section, and everything looks very similar. I just need to push the plus button, and now I will be presented with all the relevant fields for per diem expenses. I'll start by filling in all the mandatory fields. Put number of days, and put a destination, justification, and I also have here a calculate button, just the same as I have on the EBS, to see what will be the reimbursable amount. And I can add a new line or press the done button to go to the next example. And this is my per diem line. Again, I can edit it, remove it, add more, or move to the next expense type, which will be the mileage. Let's press the plus sign. Here I can see the fields that are relevant to mileage expense. I'll put here the justification. I can add here the trip distance, of course. Select from different distance unit as set on my EBS system. It comes directly from the EBS system. Press the recalculate to see what will be the amount and the distance rate, and press done. And now that I've finished with adding all the expense line details, I can move to the next step. And this is an optional step. On some systems, it does not exist, which is the expense allocations step, where I can attach each expense line to a project and a task. It is mandatory. In our system it is configured so we can demo it, but in some systems you won't even see it and you will just skip to the next step, which will be the review step. So here, just to see how it works, we can see the line expenses that we have on our report, and for each one of them I can just choose a project that I want to attach to. So this is the list of my projects. I can select one of them, and then I can attach a task to this relevant expense. And in the same way, I can fill in all or attach all the other expenses to other projects and tasks. I won't do that. I'll just skip to the next step, which will be the last step on the expense report, the review page. Here I see all the expenses and all the data that I've added. I can see here all the types of expenses that I've added. And of course I can drill into any one of them and see what I've added. Let's drill into the mileage expense, for example. I can see here the general details. I can drill into this line to get even more details, and I can add more attachments at this phase. I can add attachment, let's call it attach one to this mileage line expense. In the same way, I can open the camera if I'm on a mobile device, or select a file for my file system. Let's select a file here. Press the add button, and now I have attachment. We are also supporting multiple attachments, so if I'll press this button again, I'll get the attachment as a table, and I can add more attachments to this specific for this specific line expense. Let's add more attachments. And now I have two. I can remove them, download them to see what I've added, and so on, or add more attachment. But if I'm finished, I'll just press the back button, get back to the previous screen, and if everything is okay, I can get back to the review page. So now that I'm satisfied with all the information that I've added to this expense report, I can just press the submit button. And this will submit the expense report directly to my system, to my EBS system. Here it is, expense report. This is the new number that it got, was submitted. If I'll go here on the right side to the expenses home, I can see, here it is, 181. This is the same expense report, so it got into the system. If I just press it to see the details, I will see here all the expenses that I've added. Here it is, the credit card, the cash, the per diem. Here are all the attachments that I've added. Everything is inside my expense, my EBS system. Once I press the OK here, I will get back to the submitted report. And of course, I can see my expense, my new expense report here as well. I can also see here the details. I can drill in and see all the details of my expense, exactly like I can do on my EBS system. So basically, this is it. This is how simple it is to add and work with our template application. Just one important thing that I would like to add is that even though this template application was demoed on our EBS system, like we said, this is a template application, which means that we can customize it very easily to your EBS system. That is, if you have different fields on your expense template, or even if you have different templates that we have, we can customize our application and in a relatively short time adjust it to your system to work with it in the same way that we just demoed here in this video. Thank you very much for your attention.